All right, when you're looking at an expression, and this is an example of a polynomial, which we'll talk more about later. But given any expression, you can break an expression into its pieces, and its pieces are terms. Okay, so each of these is called a term, and the terms are simply all the parts that are separated by a plus sign. And so what that means is any negative signs that you have in your terms have to be part of that term. And so 4x cubed, 3x squared, and 5 are all the positive terms. Negative 2x is also a term the sign carries with it. And as far as the pieces of these terms go, the numerical part out in front of each individual term is called a coefficient. The letter itself is called a variable. The number, the exponent, is called the power. Okay, when you're dealing with these terms, you also need to be able to identify the degree of a term. The degree of a term is its power, or sum of powers. And so when you're looking at each individual term here, the 4x cubed has a degree of 3, meaning it's a third degree term. The 3x squared has a degree of 2, meaning it's a second degree term, first degree term. And when you have no variable at all, it's referred to as a 0 degree term. And a 0 degree term is also referred to as a constant. And now let's talk just a second about the sum of powers. What that means is if I gave you a number like this, I said a term 3x cubed y squared, the degree of this term is going to be the sum of its powers. So 3 plus 2 gives you 5. This is a fifth degree term. Okay, so again, this is just some terminology. Hopefully you've been exposed to this before. And the last thing to think about is when you're dealing with polynomials, they can have a degree as well. And the degree of a polynomial is just the degree of the highest term. So when you look at this expression as a whole, if I ask you what's the degree of that polynomial, you take whatever the highest power is, or the highest degree term, which is a third degree term.